When I was 27 years old, I left a very demanding job in management consulting for a job that was even more demanding, teaching. I went to teach 7th graders math in the New York City public schools. Like any teacher, I made quizzes and tests. I gave out homework assignments. When the work came back, I calculated grades. What struck me was that IQ was not the only difference between my best and my worst students. Some of my strongest performers did not have terrific IQ scores. Some of my smarter kids weren't doing so well, and that got me thinking. The kind of thing you need to learn in 7th grade math, sure they are hard, ratio, decimal, the area of a parallelogram, but these concepts are not impossible, and I was firmly convinced that every one of my students could learn the material if they worked hard and long enough. After several more years of teaching, I came to the conclusion that what we need in education is a much better understanding of student and learning from the motivational perspective, from a psychological perspective. In education, the one thing we know how to measure best is IQ. But what if doing well in school and in life depends on much more and the ability to quickly and easily? So I left the classroom and I went to graduate school to become a psychologist. I started studying kids and adults in all kinds of super challenging study. And in every study my question was, who is successful here and why? My research team and I went to West Point Military Academy. We tried to predict which cadets would stay in military training and which would drop out. We went to the National Spelling Bee and tried to predict which children would advance for this in competition. We studied rookie teachers and working in really top neighborhoods, asking which teachers are still going to be here in teaching by the end of the school year, and all of those who will be the most effective at improving learning outcomes for their students. We partnered with private companies asking which of these salespeople is going to keep their jobs and who's going to earn the most money. In all those very different contests, one characteristic emerged as a significant predictor of success, and it wasn't social intelligence, wasn't good looks, physical health, and it wasn't IQ, it was grace. Grace is passion and perseverance for very long-term goals. Grace is having stamina. Grace is sticking with your future, day in, day out, not just for the week, not just for the month, but for years, and working really hard to make that future a reality. Grace is living life like it's a marathon, not a sprint. A few years ago, I started studying grace in the Chicago public schools. I asked thousands of high school juniors to take grace questionnaires, and then waited around more than a year to see who grace graduates. Turned out that gradier kids were significantly more likely to graduate. Even when I matched them on every characteristic it could measure, things like family income, standardized achievement test scores, even how safe kids felt when they were at school. So it's not just the West Point of the National Spelling Bee that grade matters, it's also in school, especially for kids at risk for dropping out. To me, the most shocking thing about grades is how little we know, how little science knows about building it. Every day, parents and teachers ask me, how do I build grades in kids? What do I do to teach kids a solid work ethic? How do I keep them motivated for the long run? The honest answer is, I don't know. What I do know is that talent doesn't make you greedy. Our data show very clearly that there are many talented individuals who simply do not follow through on their commitment. In fact, in our data, grace is usually unrelated or even inversely related to measures of talent. So far, the best idea I heard about building Christian kids is something called growth mindset. This is an idea developed at Stanford University by Carol Dweck, and it's a belief that the ability to learn is not fixed, and it can change with your effort.